Welcome to Tardisian Files. Hello listeners! In today's episode we're going to be discussing possibly one of the most brilliantly executed, most misanthropic Doctor Who episodes to date. Dot and Bubble. Dot and Bubble. I have a lot to say about this one. As always, we'll start with the overview and then delve into the analysis of the episode. So, the episode is mostly seen from the perspective of young influencer Lindy Pepperbean on the human colony of Finetime. This colony is basically a hot girl summer for rich 17 to 27-year-olds who are sent there by their parents on the neighbouring planet dubbed the Homeworld. All of the inhabitants live their lives within their bubbles, holographic feeds from their dock devices that act as social media and network devices. In Lindsay's case, it also is her sole means of navigating due to having no spatial awareness, clearly having grown up within her bubble. Lindy's friend, Gothic Paul, tries to keep warning all of the people in their close friend group that their friends are disappearing, but his concerns are repeatedly brushed off. Lindy then goes to work, or work by rich kid standards at least, where the Doctor and Ruby appear on her feed, warning her of an unseen danger. After a lot of whining, Lindy finally lowers her bubble and sees that her co-worker is in the process of being eaten by a giant slug monster. She manages to narrowly escape, nearly walking right into one of the monster's mouths, only to discover that it's ignoring her. The Doctor and Ruby, guiding Lindy through her feed, notice this, and they begin to wonder why. Lindy goes out into the street and finds that as many influencers are just walking around unaware of the dangers, others are being systematically eaten by the slug monsters. Lindy calls her friend group again, linking the Doctor and Ruby into the call, explaining the danger they're in. During the call, they witness Gothic Paul getting eaten. The Doctor tells them about a disused aqueduct system linking to a river that runs underneath their city. He sends them all the directions, however, Lindy's dot runs out of battery, so she only gets half the information. Going on what she's got, and her limited spatial awareness, she makes her way to Plaza 55, only to find that the street leading to it is covered with the slug monsters. Unable to navigate on her underdeveloped spatial awareness alone, she's nearly eaten, until she's saved by possibly the only Finetime inhabitant who's not a SimCity droid, Ricky September. Having read actual books, Ricky knows the building that the Doctor was referring to, so he and Lindy make their way there. Once inside, Ricky tries to send a distress signal to the Homeworld, only to find that it's been overrun by the slug monsters and the entire population has already been eaten. And so, the pair make their way down to the lower levels of the building, where the Doctor tells Ricky to enter a series of 100 codes into the door leading to the river, while he and Ruby continue to talk to Lindy, trying to figure out why slug monsters were ignoring some of the influencers, but not all of them. After looking at Lindy's social network, they realise that the monsters are eating them all in alphabetical order, and after they watch 17-year-old Susie Pentecost get eaten, instead of telling her to run for her life, Lindy begins to immediately panic, because she's next. The Doctor also then tells her it's worse than that, because if the monsters are eating them in alphabetical order, then their attack is not random, but a targeted one, by their own dot devices. Having become sentient, the dots grew to hate the homeworld and the Fine Time inhabitants, and so they orchestrated this attack to wipe them out. Now exposed, the dot device begins to attack Lindsay, swiping furiously at her through the air. Ricky defends her as she takes over entering the codes, but as the old door proves difficult to open, Lindy does the unthinkable. She reveals that Ricky's last name is actually Coombs. He changed it to September, but C comes before P in the alphabet. With a look of betrayal on his face, Ricky is felled by the dot device, giving Lindy time to escape. She reaches the river, where she finds all of her friends piling onto a boat, sailing into the wilderness around Fine Time, and the Doctor and Ruby. In one final twist, the Fine Time inhabitants refuse the Doctor's help, on grounds of his race. All the rich, racist, trust fund babies then pile onto the boat and sail away to certain death in the wilderness, with the Doctor and Ruby leaving, absolutely disgusted. Overall, the episode had me on the edge of my seat for the most part. It very much delivered on the teased dystopian, misanthropic, Black Mirror-esque plot that the trailers promised, while addressing very serious real-life problems such as prejudice and bigotry, and how human society can regress as well as progress, and the dangers of social media, especially on the younger generation. I do have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this episode, as certain plot points rubbed me the wrong way, but even then, they were all for the sake of delivering a very poignant message at the end of the episode, and for that, I do admire this episode a lot, and probably will rewatch it. But what did you guys think of the episode? Is there something you liked? Is there something you didn't like? Is there something we missed? Did we gloss over it? Let us know in the comments section on your favourite podcast streaming app, or head over to our Instagram and TikTok pages at Tardisian Files Podcasts and let us know in the comments for the promotional content for this episode. Hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, everyone, and as always, see you next time on Tardisian Files.